of Dawn.
Not just using the hard guard to protect teammates, but also guard the hearts of the Flame Boys, who have been with Homeboys rebuilding phase for a full season. They were there at their lowest, and they were there, and now they are here when Homeboys are at the peak of that restoration. Of course, some love taps mid lane. Very smart way to keep Stormy away and just freeze the lane. They'll start missing out some minions too.
Looking at Stormy, went for Impure Rage alongside the Penetration Emblem. So I feel like there is a good possibility that he's actually gonna go for Primal Wrath a lot more often. The first item will tell us whether or not that is the main goal, because we have seen Valentina's build Starlium Scythe and just steal the Edith ult the entire game.
Oh yeah. And it's so easy to proc too, right? Any Shadow Strike, any dashes into a sneaky auto attack in between, the true damage, that extra hybrid magic vamp. Let's keep you topped up on top of your passive. Use the flicker, ejector toss, and MelQT surrendered. First blood for Innocent.
I had a feeling this was going to happen when I saw that Jawhead. It's not very good against the Angela when hard guard's available, so what do? You play faster than that. Amal?
Trying to keep Surkais under control for the Lantern Flash stacks, but not enough, so Surkais gets away. And with Innocent winning out that lane, that is already a great start for SRG.
Really, really good start. Iritel ordinarily should be able to hold the lane just fine against a 1-1, but with Yume's intervention, that dynamic has instantly been flipped. And this is how you would play a Jawhead into an Angela comp. You have more pressure and mobility on the map, so you use that to create pressure.
Up on the string into a Lantern Lift. Stormy really wants to save the flicker, but does not have a choice. Forced to use it. Cram and the rest of SRG OG power on the aim out as he goes down.
Innocent! Gonna get picked off in a 1v1. That's an unusual mistake.
Yeah, even forced out the Inspire, right? No crossbow tank for Innocent. Now the turtle fight breaks up. Flicker, left, right, and center. Izanami tries to disengage. Ejector from you trying to facilitate Cram, but Bell takes out Stormy. The guy ends up getting the turtle for himself. Now they get the Dark Wave pull into Bell. Primal Wrath finally unleash unstoppable force from Muse for the collection as Homeboys wants to keep the fight rolling, and Cram gladly takes on the challenge. He loves those on. Ivan is the next one. Jumps on the aim out. The guys now follow through with the placers, and aim out is in no man's land, and he does not want to go down because he just came back.
Well, that was a long exchange right there. It started out pretty good with the initial gank from SRG OG. I thought that it was a mistake for Homeboys to try and contest the turtle when Amal was still there, but I think they were trying to buy time for him to revive and come back. And even though they did lose the turtle for it, they actually got a pretty alright trade, all things considered. So I think the board is actually kind of even.
I agree. And the earlier kills that SRG OG got were under the condition that there were no hard guard. But that changes from this moment onward. Ivan has access to his ultimate, that extra shooting, and heal is going to be a big problem for SRG OG until those big burst damage or healing reductions come true.
I'm still worried though. A Angela roam means giving up a lot of potential rotation pressure. If Cram is able to keep Vel in the lane, Homeboys doesn't have a lot of good ways of reliably starting a fight, and that's something that SRG OG could abuse. But it all comes down to how much itemization Ivan is able to get in. If the hard guard becomes tankier, it becomes more difficult for SRG.
I do like the fact that Cram is making sure that the wave is going to be pushed towards him, and that's why Homeboys pulled the trigger on him. Pop it on a string into a couple of knockouts. Cram jumps towards Ivan, and now finds a way to disengage. His flicker is back up in 10 seconds, and that's more than enough time for Cram to stall it out.
I think that's totally fine right there. Neither side is going to be heavily committing there, because it's highly unlikely either side is going to be getting that kill. I think Homeboys were just hoping to be able to zone Cram out before the turtle started, and they weren't able to do that, so he is here to fight.
They are utilizing Ivan to make some macro plays, right? Push the wave in, crash it in the bot lane. So Cram makes the first move, and the ejector into a toss. Aimao gets the help of the hard guards. The guys now will have to wait for its cooldown, but Aimao dangerously low. Doesn't want to be there anymore. Vel wants to get a kill with the help of Aimao, and MelQT will do just that. 2 dead on the side of SRG OG. So guys, next on the list, Izanami flickers, finds the lift, and Ivan follows up. Izanami falls. So guys, survive death.
Even those guys survived though. That's actually quite a big win for the Homeboys. SRGOG tried to jump the gun. They tried to engage on Amal when the rest of them weren't in position to defend him. And it actually was a really good gap in the armor they were able to find. But the hard guard kept him topped up just enough to barely survive. And because of that, SRGOG actually overcommitted a little bit to try and keep the fight going. The board state will reset though, both junglers still alive.
That's the Oasis up for Ivan. Still is waiting for his hard guard to come back up online, but SRGOG will decide to not contest this turtle. Homeboys can have it. Innocent with the Wind Talker, so guys getting the pot tier 1. End of the day, just like clockwork from game 1, SRGOG, they give something up, but they trade it back.
Even though they ended up throwing a lot more bodies than I think they would have liked initially, they are still holding on to a very slight goal lead. And there's just something about SRGOG, even though the goal lead is not very big, it's very scary.
Yunes finds a big toss on the Aima, but the hard guard is going to come through right now from Ivan. A big taunt on the Yumes, he's going to go down. The bodies now have to set up for Sakai's and Innocent to go for success, and they find a target with the crossbow tank. Izanami is no more. Innocent now will just hop left, right, and center. He is just styling on the Homeboys. 2 dead, 3 dead for the Homeboys.
I'm now realizing that this composition was drafted specifically to keep the hard guard target CC'd long enough for the crossbow of Tang to come out, which is even easier since most of the time it's going to be this Fredrin, which not 1-1 will normally dance circles around anyway. Getting that crossbow of Tang out, bouncing to 3 targets is massive for SRGOG, and all of a sudden that goal lead we were talking about has tripled. A lot of it on Skies specifically, since Homeboys is relying on Amal to open up the map.
It's almost the same archetype, the same approach from SRGOG that we saw when they took on Aero Esports, who were big fans of tanky XP laners like a Tigreal or a Hylos, right? You have a setup hero for Yumes like a Cho and a Jawhead. You get the target right in front of Innocent, he goes to work, unlocks the weakness points, and then he soars.
This time Innocent doesn't need to save the team. SRGOG have been in the lead the entire time, and if they're able to continue this trend forward, it is trouble for the Homeboy.
Oh no, Amao didn't really want to be there. The hard guard got to come through right now. Ivan's contemplating, but decides that it's not worth it. So Amao ends up being sacrificed. It doesn't even pop the Inspire when the rest of Homeboys disengage.
I call bias. That Cyclone Eye was working for SRGOG. Amal dashed into the Tri-Brush and instantly regretted his decision. SRGOG were waiting for him, and a free kill on the jungle means instant control and probably a free Lord.
Right on time too, the 8-minute mark. Yunes is going to spot out the approach of Vel and Izanami, and it's not even a contest. Lord number 1 going down to the red side team.
This is now starting to be a problem. When you draft a composition like this from the Homeboys, you really need early mid control, and they do not have that. None of it, in fact. Their late game scaling is not quite able to match up to SRGOG, and the longer this game goes, the scarier it becomes. The final chance for Homeboys to actually turn this around is probably just in the next 2 or 3 minutes.
I agree. I think the window has definitely shortened, just based off of the amount of events that Homeboys have found success. Solo kill from MelQT on the Innocent and the first turtle fight. That's pretty much it. Afterwards, these hard guards haven't really converted to much. At most, it's an even trade. And SRGOG, they're setting up double waves on all 3 lanes.
Top tower will fall. Homeboys already having to play very defensively. This is the risk of having an Angela. You don't have as many heroes that can stand in front as you think, and even the tankier ones will melt instantly to SRGOG now. The hard guard is literally a non-factor. SRG do not care about it at the stage they're in. And Lord gonna be taking yet another tower from the Homeboys.
Which is why I was wondering if it was the right call to put Ivan on the Angela, right? I think in this case, I much rather Izanami be on the Angela. Starling side for Stormy, a conceal from SRGOG. Just to push Homeboys back. The Lord successfully crashing on the bottom inhibitor. No structures would fall for Homeboys just yet. But SRGOG looking at a 6.6k goal advantage at 10 minutes.
He already managed to bait out some resources from the Homeboys, including that Primal Wrap. The SRG OG are just waiting for a chance to start doing more damage with Starlium Scythe now as well. Stormy will actually be another source of magic DPS that Homeboys have to be afraid of. Yumas just needs to... Oh!
Yeah, it's gonna flicker in for the catch. That's MelQT! That is the guy that should not go down, and yet SRG OG just surgical precision with their execution. 2 down on Homeboys, and now damage is going to be permanent on the base.
Man, when you're trying to approach a stray animal, you know how you have to slowly let it get used to you being there?
Well, I don't think they can ever get used to Innocent being up in the air. It actually destroys the crossbow tank, and Cram ends up going down. But still, that's the second inhibitor of Homeboys being destroyed.
So resuming that metaphor.
They were trying to wrangle in MelQT.
No, the Yumas was basically letting Homeboys get used to him standing in front. And then when they drop their guard, flicker in, throw out literally the most important member. Doesn't even care if he dies for it because he already got what he wanted. It's now an 8k net worth lead for SRG OG. Looking at the itemization, Innocent has 5 items in, not including shoes, by the way. Even has the first component of the Rose Gold Meteor, so it's even more difficult to get rid of him. The small window that I said Homeboys could maybe turn this around, I think it's officially closed. I don't think they're coming back from this one.
Yeah, I think Yums ejected that out of the window for sure. BOD for Sud guys, he is so rich. Become unstoppable force, and attempted Earth Shadow to cancel the toss, but still it comes through anyways. Aimao goes down. They commit the hard guard on the MelQT because he is the only one that can bring them back, and he's doing so good, so well, so far, but not good enough. Double kill for Sud guys as Ivan ends up going down, and now Innocent has liberty to fly up into the air for a double kill. 4 down on Homeboys, and Izanami to stare down the inevitable defeat of Homeboys in game number 2. A couple of slashes to the face, a monster kill streak for Sud guys, and SRG OG Esports are just 1 game away from the ticket back to Riyadh.